So let's talk about something that a lot of us don't think about. If you're renting, you probably feel like you're covered, right? I mean, your landlord has insurance, so if something happens, you're all good. Well, what if I told you there's a huge, and I mean really expensive blind spot in that way of thinking? Today, we're going to unpack renter's insurance and figure out if you are actually covered.
Okay, let's just start with a number that's kind of wild. More of us are renting in the US now than at any point in the last 50 years. That's a huge shift. But get this, a staggering 63% of renters are completely uninsured. Why? Well, a lot of the time, it just comes down to a simple misunderstanding. Thinking it's too expensive or that the landlord's policy is going to take care of everything. That is a massive number of people who are financially vulnerable and might not even know it.
So let's make this real for a second. Just imagine the worst-case scenario. A fire, a burst pipe, maybe a break-in. Who pays to replace your laptop, your couch, your clothes, your bed, literally everything you own? Now, if your first thought is, well, my landlord, obviously, you are definitely not alone. But unfortunately, that is the single biggest and most costly misconception out there.
And that brings us right to the heart of it all. We have got to bust this myth that the landlord's policy is some kind of safety net for you, because it just isn't. So let's break down the huge difference between what your landlord's policy covers and, well, your reality.
It's actually pretty simple when you see it laid out like this. Think of it this way. The landlord's insurance covers their stuff. The building itself, the walls, the roof, the appliances that came with the place, that's all theirs. It protects their investment. But your whole world inside those walls, your furniture, your computer, your TV, your clothes, that's all on you. The landlord's policy will not pay you a dime for your personal things.
So if the landlord's policy isn't your safety net, then what is? Well, the answer is renter's insurance. And look, I know it sounds complicated, but it's really not. It all boils down to three main things. 3 pillars of protection that create a financial safety net just for you. First up, and this is the one everybody thinks of, it protects your stuff, your possessions. If something bad happens, like a fire or a theft, this is the part of the policy that helps you replace your things. Seriously, just take a minute and think about how much it would cost to buy a new laptop, a new TV, a new couch, and your entire wardrobe all at once. Yeah, this coverage is what stands between you and that absolutely massive bill. Second, and this is the one that people totally forget about, is liability coverage. So what happens if your dog nips a neighbor? Or you forget the bathtub is running and it overflows, causing a ton of water damage to the apartment downstairs? Without this coverage, you could get sued and be on the hook for all of those damages, not to mention the legal fees. This part of the policy is your financial shield when accidents happen. And the third pillar is a genuine lifesaver. It's often called loss of use or additional living expenses. Okay, so let's go back to that fire we talked about. If it makes your apartment unlivable, where are you going to go? This coverage helps pay for you to stay somewhere else, like a hotel or a short-term rental, so you aren't left scrambling and paying out of pocket during what's already a crazy stressful time. Okay, so you get why you need it. Now let's talk about the what. Because when you start looking at an actual policy, you're going to run into some insurance jargon. Don't worry, we're going to quickly decode the most important terms so you can feel confident and make a really informed choice.
First thing you'll see is the word deductible. The easiest way to think about this is it's your share of the cost when you make a claim. Let's say you have a $500 deductible and a $2,000 claim for a stolen laptop. You pay the first $500 and the insurance company covers the remaining $1,500. And here's a pro tip. If you choose a higher deductible, your monthly payment or premium is usually going to be lower.
Now, this next one is absolutely crucial to understand. It's the difference between actual cash value and replacement cost. Actual cash value, or ACV, pays you what your stuff is worth today. It takes into account all the wear and tear, depreciation. But replacement cost coverage pays you the full amount to go out and buy a brand new, similar item. This choice can make a massive difference in how much money you actually get. Let's look at a real-world example. Say your 3-year-old computer gets destroyed in a leak. A replacement cost policy would give you the $1,100 you need to walk into a store and buy a brand new one. But actual cash value, it might only give you $650 because, your old computer has lost value over the years. That is a $450 gap that you have to cover yourself. So, which payout would you rather get?
So, you see why it's so important, and you understand the key terms. But how do you actually go about getting the right policy without it being a total headache? Don't worry, let's just walk through a few simple, actionable steps to make a smart choice.
It's really just a straightforward 3-step process. First, take a quick inventory of your stuff.
You don't need a crazy detailed spreadsheet. Just walk through your apartment with your phone and take a video. This helps you figure out how much coverage you actually need. Second, shop around. Get a few quotes from different companies. Don't just take the first one you see. And third, always ask about discounts. The easiest one is usually bundling your renters and auto insurance together. That can save you a good chunk of change.
And all of this brings us to one final thought. I know renters often worry about adding another monthly bill. But when you reframe it with this question, the answer becomes incredibly clear. After a disaster, what's really more expensive? Paying for a small policy each month, or facing the absolutely devastating cost of replacing every single thing you own, all out of your own pocket? It's definitely something to think about.